Welcome back to the channel, it's Mazer. We are back with another Glazing Gogeta video. I don't know what number it is because I haven't done it for a while, but this one's going to be a short one anyways. But you might be asking, why am I doing this? Why didn't I make some random Dragon Ball Legends content? I heard there's an Ultra who I don't care about because he's not Gogeta. I also heard there's a brand new free-to-play character who's not Gogeta, so I don't care about him. I also heard there's like new DB characters, type of characters. Don't care because I don't care at all. It's not Gogeta. Anyways, I might just go ahead and say I'm the best YouTuber of all time. The best YouTuber of all time. Consider it ego. I consider it ultra ego because I am, of course, Vegeta, and you're not Vegeta, and you can't be Vegeta because I'm Vegeta, among other things. Of course, what I really want to talk about today is the penis that is Gogeta one more time. But to understand it fully, I want to take a brief moment to look at Goku. A lot of people only consider Gogeta to be the Goku fusion. And that makes sense a little. Anyways, peep game and lock in on this one, guys. Okay? At the end of the Buu arc, Goku uses his most powerful move in his repertoire. The Genkai Dama, the Spirit Bomb, in which he opens up his body, leaving him defenseless to ask upon the help of everyone on Earth, all of his allies, to defeat his opponents, which is the strongest move he has. Now, I stole that description a little bit from a TikTok comment. It was a part of a Goku edit, of course. But that's actually not the main point of this video. Consider it a source for my argument. Goku's power comes from other people. It comes from help from other people. Goku's whole entire character is essentially about him gathering friends and him gaining most of his strength from his friends. Goku got Super Saiyan because of Krillin. Goku got Super Saiyan, I can't say 2 or 3, I'm not gonna lie. 2 or 3, no. Can't say anything. He got God because of his allies. He got Super Saiyan Blue because, really, of himself, actually. But then he got Ultra Instinct because of his... Well, we're gonna say Ultra Instinct was because of himself. But we're gonna say Ultra Instinct Mastered was because of his allies. That's what drove him there. That's really what drove him there. And of course, I haven't read the manga. I've seen a lot of the manga. I don't know how he gets true Ultra Instinct. I'm assuming it's not because of his allies, because I feel like that's not what he usually does. Anyways, the point is, Goku gets a lot of his strength from other people. But here's what makes Gogeta different from Goku. Goku, his whole thing is about friendship. It's like I guess the lesson you learn from Gogeta is... Sorry, not Gogeta. The lesson you learn from Goku is essentially... friends help you. And that's a great lesson. But Gogeta doesn't teach that same lesson. Gogeta is, like I've said a lot of times, a force of nature. Gogeta's whole entire lesson to be learned is that some people just gotta be punished. They just gotta go. And that's not including him, because he's not going to jail either. They can't get him in jail. He's a force. You see, Gogeta's ultimate attack is his Soul Punisher. Now, we're going to ignore Super for a little bit because they did obviously take some liberties with his character. Soul Punisher in the Z movie, the ability to essentially eradicate all evil from one. We see it in the movie. Obviously, Janemba's full of evil. We throw it out. What's left is the not evil person left inside of Janemba. If it was just on a strong attack, it would just kill Janemba entirely, including the kid. It didn't kill the kid, thus it destroyed a specific part of Janemba, which conveniently was all the evil, since he turned good after. But, of course, that's just me trying to counter-argument all people who still believe Soul Punisher is just an attack. In Z, at least. You can argue it in Super, but in Z, no. Anyways, the point being, his attack is a seemingly weak attack for one. Like, it just goes, like, right through Janemba. It doesn't look like it does a lot of damage. And then, next thing we know, Janemba is crumbled beyond belief. This attack essentially just shows the punishment you deserve. This is on the same chord, I guess you could say, as Ghost Rider using his Pent Stare. It's the exact same thing. It seemingly is a weak attack, but it is quite literally the strongest thing you could possibly do to somebody. And this comes after Gogeta absolutely pummels Janemba. 2 back of the head knee kicks with the same knee, and then an uppercut kick to the back of your skull. That's not dang, I just got hit really hard. That's not things are getting interesting. This is a death. This is a death moment right here. You don't just get up from that and say, you know what? things are getting interesting. No, Janemba didn't do that. Janemba was like shook. He got a stamina break. Actually, that was enough to stamina break him. He was stamina breaking for so long that Gogeta had enough time to charge up the Soul Punisher completely. He literally charged that thing up, then threw it at him, and only after it already going through Janemba, Janemba's like, oh wait, let me try to attack him. It's too late, Baka. You're done. That's the thing about Gogeta. He, unlike Goku, isn't really meant to tell you a story of teamwork or having great, friendship values. He is the lesson that you just gotta do it. Some people just gotta get it done. He's more entertaining that way. I guess he's essentially your nature. He is not exactly a good force, but you can't say he's a bad force. And honestly, you could really see him as both. Because here's the thing. What Gogeta did in the movie didn't need to happen. He could have just threw the Soul Punisher. He had time. He really did have time. He could have just threw the Soul Punisher. Instead of telling him the speech of why he is so evil and why his actions must be punished, when he says, every force has an echo, your own bad energy will be undoing, he's essentially saying, your evil must be punished. You have to be paid. Your penance is due. That's what he's saying here. But of course, he could have just thrown the Soul Punisher. If it was that important, he could have thrown the Soul Punisher. But it's important to his character that he knows, or rather he tells Janemba, despite him not being, in most cases, literate, you have to die. You have to pay the consequences of your actions. That's really for the viewers at home, honestly. It's not about just being the bad guy. This is not your average bad guy. This is an evil that needs to be slain. That's the situation we're here with Gogeta here. Gogeta is not a character trying to tell you about how you have to be great, have all your allies help you, someone to make a lot of friends, your strength comes from your friends. No, this guy's telling you this is what happens when you're this evil. He's telling you the yin yang of your actions. You're this good, this will happen. You're this bad, this will happen. And then, of course, a lot of that gets thrown out the window when you look at Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now, of course, this is my second favorite Gogeta, only behind Z Gogeta. But even in Super Broly, you see a little bit of the same kind of punishment factor here. Gogeta, of course, goes straight to boxing Gogeta. Straight to boxing Broly. Unlike in the Z movie, he does immediately just start fighting Broly. And this is honestly because Broly isn't deserving of actual punishment here. It's pretty obvious from the get-go. Even when Goku's fighting Broly, when he's in God mode, he can tell that Broly's not a bad guy. And he goes Super Saiyan, of course, which demands a stronger a person to just beat him up. But of course, they know he's not a bad person. Gogeta is pummeling him for most of the movie. And of course, we do see him use the Soul Punisher late game. This is when he goes to Legendary Super Saiyan, I believe. And this is essentially seeing Broly enter this new enraged form. This, quite literally, is Broly becoming what I can only describe it as truly, I don't want to say truly, like a piece of evil in him. Because here's the thing. Broly went Super Saiyan because of a loss. Similar to Goku. That is, if you want to say, it's something Goku can relate to, / Vegeta can relate to. This is a transformation that was kind of natural. That's just how you get Super Saiyan. But then you get Legendary Super Saiyan. That transformation was purely spawned off of rage, and frankly, this is Broly's overwhelming potential. That has nothing to do with the average Saiyan transformation, at least not the good ones. Ultra Instinct was not because of rage and because of his potential. It was because of his connections and his potential. Technically not his potential. He broke through his potential with that one, so it wasn't even about potential. It was just about the allies made along the way. Super Saiyan was about his allies being destroyed and him having to avenge them. Same thing with God Goku. There was no rage in God Goku. That's like his calmest form. That is simply him using his allies. When you get Broly here, that is pure rage. Obviously, Gogeta is going to use the Soul Punisher on him. Like, is this guy evil or not? Now, of course, this is more in the theory territory. So, if you guys want to leave one ear closed, go ahead and do that. But we're going to go ahead and yap about this Soul Punisher here. You see, Soul Punisher in this particular case, it's more of a bomb, actually. It doesn't actually have the same properties of the old Soul Punisher. The old Soul Punisher, while they do look the same, they're definitely the same move. I'll say that much. They're the same move. But then, one thing in particular happens. When Gogeta throws a Soul Punisher, it doesn't go through Janemba. Oh, it doesn't go through his Broly like it does Janemba. It just kind of blows up. It's a bomb. It's literally just a bomb attack. But we still see the rainbow shatters and the glitter effects of the same Soul Punch from Z. You could say this is a different way of animating it, which I would agree to a certain point, but at the same time, looking at how lethal it is to Broly, I think what it's actually trying to convey is that Broly, on the other hand, well, Janemba was just straight evil. He was just a straight evil person. Broly isn't. I think what we saw there, the rainbow of him getting battered and bruised but not destroyed, that was essentially the Penn Stare at a loss. This person isn't truly deserving a punishment, but of course they have done evil. They are technically evil in this state. This is technically not a good person, nor are they evil enough to be punished. That is what the Soul Punisher is telling me when it is attacking Broly, but not killing Broly like the average Soul Punisher would do. Now, of course, this is a really big theory here, considering that Soul Punisher could theoretically not be the same move from Z, but I really doubt it, personally. But of course, it's all personal at this point. But the point still remains. That is showing that Gogeta, regardless of what you think about him, he's not Goku in that he has to have friends, or his point is to show friends. His point is to give punishment to those who are due. He is quite literally Dragon Ball's Ghost Rider, which is pretty sick if you ask me. Now, I could go into a deep dive about Vegeta, but I have no substance because he sucks. So we're going to continue talking about Gogeta for a little bit longer here. At the end of the movie, we do see Gogeta is serving out his punishment. Now, here's the thing with Gogeta in Super. Super Gogeta actually has a bit more of a personality here. He's a little less of a force. He's a little bit less of a force in nature and more of like a just, I want to say like a blank slate character. Almost like a lawful good character. But not lawfully good. I don't know. Maybe, perhaps the right word is actually chaotic good. I won't say lawful good, because he does see a little bit of good in Broly and still chooses to act on it. He sees the tiniest bit of evil and says, you have to be punished, which makes it even more like the Ghost Rider, actually, because Ghost Rider will see even a bit of evil in you, and it's pretty much done. It's wraps. You have to be punished, even if the punishment isn't the same as if you were completely evil. And that's Gogeta here. Gogeta is putting the hands on Broly. After he goes blue, he is not touched again. It's purely just scrapping time. This isn't Gogeta having a fun fight anymore. You could argue he was having a little bit of fun during the base to Super Saiyan arc. He was doing some things that weren't necessary. But of course, that's Gogeta. He styles on you no matter what. But then we look at what I can only describe to you as purely just punishment. It's just punishment this whole entire time. The moment he hits that pose when he does the comic strike, I should say. The comic strike, what is it called? The meteor strike? It's meteor strike. When it's a meteor strike, that combo from the get-go, that is really the start of the end for Broly. That is roughly the end of the fight, but really, that combo just shows he's not playing around anymore. Broly just gets absolutely pummeled to the ground, and then Broly is left with this amazingly powerful, I want to say like beam of light coming straight from the ground, but Gogeta summons. That is some crazy punishment. This isn't even Gogeta punching him anymore. Now, mind you, this isn't the main attack. A lot of people don't realize this in Dragon Ball, but when you think about Dragon Ball fights, the best ones, or rather the most well-written ones, are mainly physical fights. This is where you see pure skill and pure attention to focus. And usually how they end is with a beam clash or a giant beam of light, because you want to have a stronger attack that's stronger than these punches, I should say, but is still like good. It's still entertaining. And those were a lot of beams that actually end off on arcs. You think about Kefla versus UI. Most of the fight was physical, but the end fight where it was essentially Kefla's beam, her gigantic, don't even know the move, it's gigantic something, and then of course Goku using his Kamehameha. That shows the ending of the fight, the climax. Gogeta, on the other hand, uses that beam not as a climactic move, but literally just to hurt Broly, just to punish him, because these beam attacks are stronger than any punch you could throw. That is purely punishment, and honestly, that battle was meant to kill Broly. That was probably meant to do the job. Or rather, that was meant to lead up into something else. Because we do see that after Broly takes this, he is stunned. This is essentially the stamina break that happens when Gogeta from Z uses that 3-hit combo, the knee, same knee, and the uppercut backflip. This is essentially the same thing. And of course, that's when we says this This is coming to a rousing finale. Sorry for all the mumbles and frumbles. This is straight out of the dome here. But of course, Gogeta Blue hits the Kamehameha. This is one of the most powerful Kamehamehas we've seen in our entire show. We haven't seen a charge up this slow, but this powerful since the Broly movie in Z. This is pretty cool to see. And of course, this is when we actually get to see a great shot of Broly being absolutely scared. He has lost the anger and the almost like insane eyes we see him have. This is like humanized Broly. This is Broly after the punishment's already due. That original attack, I think it's called Meteor Explosion. The Meteor Explosion is actually what I would say punishes Broly here. The Kamehameha was really Gogeta going above and beyond. This is Gogeta being a little too, I want to say, human, or rather, a little less of a force and more of a character. This is him going overboard. He's realized, because at this point, he's thought, this is lasting way too long. It's gotta end this. You gotta end this. The punishment hasn't been had enough, so let's just end this fight. That's a little bit more headcanon. Take that with a grain of salt. Possibly a large grain of salt, actually. Probably so much that you will literally dry up. Don't put this on a snail, you will end their life. But anyways, that's actually the funny thing about the Kamehameha. It does not hit. You see, Gogeta already did the job by using that Meteor Explosion. The Kamehameha didn't need to hit. The message was already sent. And I think writing-wise, that's exactly why Broly's already sent off-world. Before the Kamehameha hits, Chi asked Shenron, can you please get Broly out of here? Send him to his homeworld. And that's exactly what happens. That is because Gogeta has already done what he needed to do. He's already punished Gogeta. Gogeta's already punished Broly. I am fumbling hard. This is already coming to an ending finale for this video as well. That's the thing about Gogeta here. Like I was trying to say at the beginning of the video, he is not a character that's about telling you the values of friendship. While he is a fusion of Goku and Vegeta, he's not entirely just about being Goku and Vegeta and having them show the power of friendship. That's not even the slightest about what they're about. Now, you could argue it's about that in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but I haven't watched it, and I'm not going to because he sucks, because he's just a Vegeta clone. But what this is really about is him making sure punishment is done. The paid is paid. That made no sense. But the point is, Gogeta is your Dragon Ball Ghost Rider. He is the angel born in hell, which is what people often refuse to accept. A lot of people will say the angel born in hell isn't a real title for the character, but in a lot of ways it is. Writing-wise, it fits him so well, because the thing about Gogeta is that he pummels characters in the most elegant way possible. Looking at what he does to Janemba, it doesn't strike as almost as hard as some characters would do in Dragon Ball. Like Super Saiyan 2 Goku versus Majin Vegeta certainly had harder hits and more disrespectful things. But the elegance in which Janemba is getting destroyed is its own unique pain. One that you could only see for a character that it can only be defined as a force of nature. Like, just look at any media you've seen where you have a force of nature. When they're written well, those characters will do amazing amounts of damage, but they'll do it in a fine, elegant way. You'll see it plenty of times. Actually, I think a great example is if you watch Demon Slayer, you have Missouri, when she uses her bug-breathing attacks. She has a very elegant way of combat, but it still does a lot of damage. Because that's really what nature, and rather what the force of nature is about persuading you. It's strong, but it's elegant. It's brooding, but it's also smart. That is Gogeta. And even in Super, we see this plenty of times. When he has a Millie Rock combo on you, that is a smooth way to deliver justice to the opponent. And we see a lot of elegance also in just the other combo he does. The Meteor Strike combination, that's probably the name. The Summon Comet. It's Meteor Comet. It's such... I just forgot. It's been so long since I played Xenoverse 2. That right there is still him showing the elegance while also displaying the power. Because notice he doesn't really change form. He cracks rocks and breaks mountains. Well, really a hill. When he clashes with Broly, of course Broly easily just losing the clash. He breaks mountains. Really, mountains. And those mountains aren't affecting Gogeta. Gogeta is fine here. He keeps his elegance throughout the entire fight. He didn't get a huge loss like some other characters would. Now, what I would consider a loss here is like, think about Vegeta. Vegeta, you could say, has a certain amount of aura, and then that aura is for a moment lost when he turns Candy Vegeta, but of course he gains that immediately back when he starts pummeling Buhan when he is Candy. But nonetheless, he does lose a bit of aura for just being a Candy, being in a Candy in the first place. Gogeta never takes a loss that heavily. He never takes a loss because he's not supposed to. He is an all-right nature. He's essentially luck. If you want to say it this way, he's essentially voodoo. He is essentially a force. You can't stop a force. He is like gravity. Or rather, if you guys even watch JoJo's, he is like Calamity in a certain character. I won't talk about it because it's spoilers. It's not even animated yet, so that's all you're gonna get. Unless you watch JoJo's, or unless you want to read JoJo's, actually, I should say. You have to just, never mind, not important at all. The point is, that is Gogeta here. He is a punisher of evil. Unlike Goku, who is meant to be more of a, kind of like a character that just shows really your typical shonen things. The power of friendship and all of that. But anyways, that's the Yap video. I chose to do this instead of Sparking Zero content because I thought this was cooler. I was like, you know what? We're going to talk about Gogeta one more time. This is going to be Gogeta Glaze. And honestly, I think this is one of the better glazes I've done. Despite all the horrible speaking, the constant yapping, or more importantly, the constant me not having the ability to talk because of the stumbling, the rumbling, and all of that things. But that just means I have something great to say. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and don't even, in fact, tell all of your friends that this guy just made the craziest, greatest video about Gogeta. If you ignore all the stumbling, all the rumbling, you will possibly listen to the greatest glazing of Gogeta of all time. Because he is the angel born in hell. After all. See ya on the next one.